Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about races and try to practice it on a short response today so that tomorrow on your quiz, your responses are scored really high. There's certain ways that you want to respond to a question in your writing. It needs to be organized and it needs to include evidence from the text to back up your ideas. So we use races to help format our responses and make sure we're doing everything we need to do. So today we're going to go step by step and really understand how races is used and look at an example that I've created for you. After you look at this example, you're then going to write your own using races and what you see in this tutorial today. So let's get started. Step 1, when you're writing a short response, is to restate the question. You can restate the question by incorporating some of the key words into your sentence. So imagine this example. Let's say I'm going to write a short response on this question. Does Tucker regret his decision to try to kill Anvil? If that's my question, I need to restate it in a way that now gives my reader the information about my topic. For example, here would be my restate. In the story, The White Circle, Tucker tries to kill Anvil. I've restated it and introduced the reader to my topic. It's almost like a topic sentence. What is your paragraph going to be about? You want to stay away from saying, my paragraph is going to be about yada yada. You just get right to the point. In the story, The White Circle, Tucker tries to kill Anvil. Step 1 complete. Step 2, I have to answer the question. Be sure to answer the question. It is your claim. That is what you're trying to prove. So let's go back to my example. Does Tucker regret his decision to try to kill Anvil? I've already restated. Now I would add my answer. The reader can tell that Tucker immediately regrets his decision. So I'm letting the reader know that yes, Tucker regrets his decision. I've restated and I've answered. My next step now is to cite my evidence and to explain my evidence for the first time. You must cite and explain 2 pieces of specific text evidence. These are called text-based details, or TBDs. Remember, give the page number of where you got your evidence. So let's look at my example again. Here's my question. I've already restated and I've already answered. So I say yes, he regrets it. I need to back that up with some evidence and some explanation. So I found a quote from the story. It says, for example, Tucker calls out to Anvil after the incident and says, here's my quote, Anvil, wait, I'll give them to you. Page 4. This demonstrates Tucker's regret because he's almost begging Anvil to come back and take the apples. He realized he was wrong. You'll notice that I include the page number just with parentheses and just the number from the page. You don't need to put P period, PG period. Just put parentheses and the page number. You'll also notice that highlighted in purple and in red, I have keywords that signal. Here comes an example and here comes an explanation. So by saying, for example, I'm kind of prepping the reader that here comes my quote. By saying this demonstrates, I'm expanding on my quote and saying, I picked this quote because it shows. I have to show that connection between my evidence and the explanation. Essentially, I'm trying to prove to the reader that I chose this piece of evidence because it shows something about my answer. I have to explain that to the reader by saying this demonstrates, this shows, this highlights. Step 4, you repeat that same process. Cite another piece of evidence and explain it. Here's another piece of evidence that I would add to my paragraph. Also is another transition word. You see that in purple. Also in the text, Tucker says, here's my second quote, I had no hatred for Anvil then. Page 2. This highlights that Tucker doesn't always hate Anvil. If he doesn't truly hate Anvil, then of course he would regret trying to kill him. Notice again my page number in parentheses right after my quote. Also notice my transition words. I have also, and I have this highlight. Again, telling the reader, this is my explanation or my commentary. My commentary needs to be directly related to my quote and connect back to my answer. So if you look at this piece of evidence and even the one before it, there's no doubt that these two things support my idea. I've explained how they support my idea. I've shown the reader these quotes support my idea. It's absolutely necessary that you have two pieces of evidence and you explain both of those pieces of evidence. Now that I've restated, answered, given two pieces of evidence, and explained those two pieces of evidence, I'm at step 5, which is sum it up. Wrap up your ideas in one final concluding sentence. Again, use keywords. So here's my question. Does Tucker regret his decision to kill Anvil? Here's my sum it up. In conclusion, Tucker definitely doesn't want to kill Anvil, and he certainly regrets his choice. The reader can see the connection between the question, my ideas, and my sum it up sentence. I've also included in purple a transition word to show the reader, here comes my wrap it up. Here's my sum up question. In conclusion. So now let's take a look at all of these put together and what the final product would be if I follow every step of RACES. This is what your paragraph should look like. A few things that you're going to notice. It's more than 3 sentences. A full paragraph should be about 5 to 7 sentences. You'll see in bold that I have these quotes. Anvil, wait, I'll give them to you. I had no hatred for Anvil then. There's quotation marks around those because I've copied them directly from the text. I've even included the page numbers in which I got those things from. If this is something that you haven't done in the past, you want to start practicing that. In the story The White Circle, Tucker tries to kill Anvil. The reader can tell that Tucker immediately regrets this decision. For example, Tucker calls out to Anvil after the incident and says, Anvil, wait, I'll give them to you. Page 4. This demonstrates Tucker's regret because he's almost begging Anvil to come back and take the apples. He realized he was wrong. Also in the text, Tucker says, I had no hatred for Anvil then. Page 2. This highlights that Tucker doesn't always hate Anvil. If he doesn't truly hate Anvil, then of course he would regret trying to kill him. In conclusion, Tucker definitely doesn't want to kill Anvil, and he certainly regrets his choice. If someone was assessing this paragraph using RACES as a rubric or as criteria, they could go through and check off every part of RACES based on this paragraph. When you finish writing a paragraph, you want to go back and double check yourself. Did I restate the question? Did I answer it? Did I cite twice and explain twice? And did I sum it up? If you're able to check off all of those things, then you've successfully written a short response. Some final tips. Your short response should always be between 5 and 7 sentences. Your evidence should be directly copied with quotation marks or very specifically paraphrased, meaning restated in your own words. Your evidence should be followed with the page number in parentheses. Use RACES to check your work. So your work for today. You're going to use the information in this tutorial to write a short response on your green discussion paper. You're writing a written response to one of the discussion questions. On your activity list, you will see you have a choice of which one you can pick. You don't have to do the one you talked about. This is going to get collected and graded, and you're also writing a short response on tomorrow's quiz. So use your time wisely today, get this done before you leave, and use this tutorial to help you. Go back and make sure you're following RACES in your response. Good luck!